welcomes Matt Damon, NBC Tonight.
What is the pronoun in the sentence, I suck at trivia? Who should star in the Book of Moron? I'm looking at your names. Dim Wit. I call them as I see them.
He served 3 tours in Afghanistan.
I know how lucky I am to still be here. This is a record. Yes! Get in there!
The Wall, next Tuesday on NBC.
And you're looking at pictures of that breaking news from Riverside County right now, where firefighters are battling a small brush fire. Josh Kuzo live overhead in News Chopper 4. Josh.
Hey, that's right, Colleen. This is the Cobble Fire here in Eastvale or Corona. It's burning in the Santa Ana River bottom. And when we first got on scene, we were seeing flames about 40 or 50 feet tall. The size up was about 5 to 7 acres. But as I zoom out, you can start to get an idea of the perspective of how close it is. Thankfully, it's not quite in the backyard of too many homes, but they would be able to see it from their backyard. But we do have some ground footage that we can cut to show you some of the shots from earlier from the ground of how serious these flames were, as how it looked, especially when we first got here. But we know CAL FIRE Riverside is on the scene here, and they're starting to put a lot of good work into this, a lot of good water onto some of these spots, because when we first got here, we were just seeing flames sort of for the whole 5 to 7 acres, but now it's really been brought down to just about this spot that they're focusing on. But they do have this thing surrounded. They've got a lot of water lines up here, so it's definitely looking optimistic for the Eastvale Corona area. So we're going to send it back down to you, Colleen.
Josh, before you go, very quickly, is it windy out there, or is this a fuel burning fire?
It's been a little bit of both. It's a decent amount of fuel here, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of dense vegetation, a lot of grass and trees for this to go through, but the wind has been changing direction. So right now at the moment, as we're talking, it's just sort of lazily drifting up. We've seen the wind come from the north and the south, but right now it looks like a fuel-based fire at the moment.
All right, Josh, and of course, we'll keep an eye on the situation out there and bring you more as we get it. Now, we have more breaking news, this time in Anaheim. 2 people shot on Calle del Mar. This happened just after 8:30 tonight. Police say there was a second scene where they detained several people in connection with this shooting. That is all the Anaheim PD is saying at this point. It's not clear what led up to the shooting or the extent of the injuries. Now, for the first time in 15 years, Hollywood has shut down. More than 1,000 writers officially walked off the job, demanding more streaming residuals and higher pay. NBC4's Robert Kovacic with more.
Day 1 of the strike ends, and tonight, so do network late-night talk shows, now airing reruns. Season 48 of SNL may already be over. This week's show with Pete Davidson canceled. Daytime TV will likely follow, and an impact on fall shows if the strike stretches, as entertainment labor attorney Jonathan Handel predicts.
This strike is going to last at least 8 weeks.
Writers replacing pens with picket signs out in earnest and in force today at Warner Brothers. News Shopper 4 found a swarm outside Paramount Studios in Hollywood. Nearby, this crowd at Netflix. In West LA at Fox Studios. In Culver City at Sony. And in Burbank at Disney, where on the ground, Jay Leno arrived with donuts. Writer Sarah Fahey on the picket lines sharing this video with NBC4. A sweet moment after contract negotiations soured and the Writers Guild of America and the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers failed to ink a last-minute deal. WGA member Natalie Abrams says simply,
"We're fighting to make a living wage."
With the proliferation of streaming, the WGA says giants like Universal, the parent company of NBC News, Paramount, Netflix, Amazon, and Apple are creating untenable work conditions. They have closed the doors on their labor force. The AMPTP says its offer included generous increases in compensation for writers. Now the fallout of this strike just beginning.
When people lose their jobs, and it will be crew members, it will be suppliers, employees furloughed, it'll be restaurant workers, on and on. The first thing they do is file for unemployment, but the second thing they do is cut discretionary spending.